I apologize. Welcome to this week's What the Heck. We have Bartok and Side this week.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, that was a shorter intro because I got tired of it because I've been listening to it for like an hour. Anyway, how's everybody doing?
I'll let Side go. Go first.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'm here. I just, recently I've got a hold of my first foray into pocket operators. Basically,
Yeah.
it really is kind of an excellent drum machine based on the Microtonic BST by Sonic Swords.
Yeah, the Microtonic is sick. Let's come back to that. We've got Benjamin too. We've got a full grid today, which is great. Hopefully nobody else shows up too. I'm just kidding. If more people show up, it's great. Yeah, let's do quick intros. Who are you and what was the last effect module you used? Bartok, you're first.
All right. Well, I'm Bartok. I make electronic music, and my last effects module. I had to think about it because I wasn't too sure, but it's the Steve's MS22 filter.
Oh, sick!
Yeah, that I built off that's the DIY version.
That's even better.
So
Side, can you turn your volume down just like a smidge so there's a little bit less echo?
Yeah, sure. Where was it? Yeah.
No worries.
It's feeding
Is
back.
it good there?
Uh, eh. It's all right. It's like
All right.
3 second delay, so it's not as bad as it could be. Um, and it's
All
pretty
right. All right.
low. Uh, Benjamin, who are you, and what was the last effects module you used?
The last effects module would be beads. My name is Ben, as you guys know, and I'm 34 from the Northeast. I'm in Rhode Island, and it was definitely beads. I did it with the beads last.
Beads is on my list as soon as I can find a black panel I like. Um, and Side, what was the last effect module you used?
Well,
And if
wait.
you don't have any effect, what was
A,
the last synth
any
or
effect?
something?
Well, I've been tinkering with Noise Engineering's free VSTs that they
Oh,
released recently, and they got their Ruina stuff on a VST basically,
is that
and
distortion?
this it is an audio destructor. It's like you put nothing in and you get back noise sometimes.
That's my new favorite phrase. uh, I'm Hex 7 coming at you from the mountains in Colorado, and I think the last effects module I used is actually yeah, it's the triple splashback delay, which is, let's see if I don't even have audio going through it right now, but it is the last one I used. Figure that out another time, but it's a gnarly P23399 delay. So it's three of those stacked
Sweet.
and feeding into each other like crazy. Hey, shock value, feel free to answer the questions as well. Um, yeah, so we got a new pocket operator, which was I think I mentioned briefly like this one I'm never going to sell, but like this is the first thing I had of all of this stuff, and it rules. It's the Speak, which is not my recommendation for the first one for somebody to get, but is an awesome pocket operator.
Cool.
I think
Yeah, I
everybody should
mean,
get the arcade. But tell us about the tonic because I don't actually have the tonic.
okay, cool. Yeah, but the tonic is actually based off of a VST, like I said before, right? So you can, for example, give they you can take let's say a patch or something from the microtonic VST via audio into the little
Yep,
microphone right
yep.
here, and you basically can change any of these sounds that
Yeah,
are
that's
available here. So
yeah,
to me,
that's
it has more value than say a rhythm, for example.
yeah. I mean, they are quite nice. I don't love how you load and unload data onto them, but for the cost, it's pretty. They're monster machines. Unlimited fun.
Mhm. Actually, yeah,
Um,
it's kind of surprising that they made basically portable group boxes for the price they are.
yeah, and that's their whole intent. I think
Mhm.
anytime I see folks using more than one, I mean I've tried it. It's okay, but I think one is good.
Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
exactly.
uh, Benjamin, what's new with you in modular? Like let's loop back to modular a little bit.
I wish that I had something new and exciting going on. I'm kind of stuck in a loop over here, working on a track at the moment. Just it's mostly just post production right now. I'm
Okay,
kind of I'm zeroed in on what I recorded. I want to make it come to a finished track. So
cool. Are you doing?
baby steps.
Is it this month? Yeah, I think it is this month that there's what is it? New
Noisevember.
Noisevember. Yeah, yeah, where
Yeah.
people are doing tracks every day. Is that what you're doing?
I'll do one. I always do
One.
one for Noisevember, but
Okay,
just
one is
one.
good.
Yeah, that's enough.
That's more than I release on average per year.
Yeah,
Um,
same. Big time.
Bartok, what about you?
Um, there's a track that I've just started working on, so I'm still kind of fleshing out the the meat and potato part of it before I start adding variations. But it's something that I had actually started with a Volca bass, messing around, and I got a sequence that I really liked. So then it was moving that over and now trying to add parts to it.
Cool. Um, yeah, that's pretty cool. How many Volcas do you have actually? Now that I think about it, I don't think we've
I
talked
just
about
have that
Volcas.
one. Yeah, I got it as a birthday present this year. So I'm kind of backwards. I had all this, and then
And then
and
you started getting full box synths and stuff.
yeah,
Uh, that's one way to go. I just I'm like selling all of mine right now, so it's like the opposite of that. Like the SEO2 is gone. Like let's see, big old hole up there where it used to be. uh, and a hole in my heart. Just kidding. It's going to a cool person. Um, but
What you won't be missing will be the.
I did get some stuff in the mail very recently from this Trog person. I haven't actually opened it beyond cutting it open, but I'm really excited because it means I get to join the ranks of y'all Euro rack people. Like, yeah, I have 64 HP, but that doesn't really count. So, well, for me.
What
Uh,
you got a
but
"This Machine Kills Fascist" sticker? What happened?
this is I actually don't even know what those stickers are, but I got like 10, 10 amps of power supply
From
here
Trigger
that need to
from
be.
from Triggertronic.
Yes.
Yeah, good. You got the good supply.
Oh, so
Nice. It's
electronic,
cheap.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and let's see, what
Cool.
does it even say?
You gotta take it.
Unionize Amazon. That's the sticker I got. Sick.
You have
Yeah.
joined the ranks.
So yeah, I'm really excited about this, and it is the DIY version. I don't know about the red cable, but like they like their red and black, so I can swap that out.
Yeah, it's kind of their color scheme,
Yeah, it's
red
cool.
and silver.
I get color schemes, but there's a lot of zip ties in here, which makes me a little curious. But yeah, it should be really
Yeah.
fun, easy build. So I'll be building that over the next few weeks. Hopefully, I'll get a fire lit. I hate building cases. It's the worst thing for me. But once it's built, it's game on. Power supply is the easy part of it.
yeah.
Have you
So
guys
those
seen?
sorry,
After
Ben.
you. No, I
Yeah,
insist. I was just gonna talk some shit. Go for it.
those zip ties will come in handy because when you daisy chain the boards,
Mm,
you use three wires. So you'll want to use those to kind of just keep them tight, or else you've got like these thick three wires that are looping to every single board.
that makes sense. I mean, before uh, when I take one of these apart, eventually I'll show it again. But I don't actually use any zip ties. I don't think. And the way I handled that was using a drill to spin the, the wires together into one,
Mm,
essentially,
yeah,
and then I added a little tension with a screw here and there, so it doesn't go anywhere.
yeah.
But zip ties is probably better. I'll do this one proper, ish. So I'm excited about that. I also have they're in the garage. I also have a set of rails, which I'm very excited about. Very much like rails that are metal. So yeah, it'll be
Did you get
fun.
those Mouser ones?
I did, and they were. Uh, I mean, they weren't that much. They were almost the same price as like ordering from, um, Anyway, they're good to go. I do have the brackets as well. I got the 9U brackets
Nice.
because that's it's just easier. I don't have to measure. it's it's fine. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
I didn't.
So I'm
I
really
didn't.
excited about that.
I had no idea they sold them in 9U for the side mounting spacers and whatnot.
I
I had
just
no
asked
idea.
a guy if he could do it, and he just made them.
So it's custom.
I guess so. I think. I mean, it's like
Wow.
an
Okay.
Etsy person. It's what is it, Duluth something?
Yeah. Duluth rails,
Yeah.
I think.
If you need to order
Wow.
custom length
Jeez.
rails, that's the person to order from. That's
Yep.
where I got those from, etc. So yeah,
It's
they
the
rule.
cheapest.
And yeah, they're fast.
Sweet.
I
I'll
mean,
use
the
them.
cheapest is definitely do it yourself. But rails aren't that much cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my news right now. I mean, I don't have any new synth gear other than that.
Thank God. It's a good
Uh,
thing.
yeah, I mean, it's just right now I have when I make the case, it's going to be like an entire sick case, right? 9U, and that'll be a 2 HP module, and that's it in there, like for like
Dandy.
weeks, if not months. So yeah, it'll be a nice bookcase for a while.
Very good.
Um, but I have been playing a lot with different patches. That's been a lot of fun. Like last night was pretty fun. Random stream, that was a fun patch. So yeah.
I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. I just
Uh,
uploaded it. I'll go watch it later.
yeah,
Can't wait.
it's cool. It's mellow. Like actually
Sweet.
mellow, not like you know. Yeah. Another sort of newsy thing is I would like to change the time from Wednesdays to Sundays, and I'm going to start Sunday mornings just to give some Europeans a chance, and then maybe alternate. I don't know, like evening and morning. I'm not sure how easy that'll be, but we can try it.
It's exciting.
And yeah,
Get new participants.
yeah, I'm excited. I don't. I always feel bad. Yeah, thanks, shock value. I appreciate that. Yeah, I always feel bad. Like, I felt really bad when like Ising was on. I don't know, a month or so ago, at like some horrible time in the
4
morning. Like,
4
yeah,
a.m. Yeah.
exactly, right.
The birds.
I'm like, I really appreciate that, but I will move the time. So
There was nice
it's happening.
ambience. The
Yeah,
wildlife in the background.
yeah. And then yeah, trying to think of music. Oh, I did. I bought a guitar, but that's not modular. We can't talk about that. Dreadbox has a new module, which I'm pretty stoked about. Let me see what the name is. It's like
Oh, really? I
let's
forgot
see.
the name of it somehow. How? Let
What's
me
up?
check on Modular Grid for a second. It's right there.
It's
It
it's
is
it's
the Dysphonia.
yes. Um, and it's a full. It might even be. Where is it? Why can't I find you easily? I saw you just a second
The
ago.
slogan is Patching Heaven.
Yeah.
It is a collection of little modules. Those, for example, oscillator, envelope, low pass filter, the typical stuff.
I mean, it's
Oh,
a
there's a
full
multimeter
voice,
kit
right?
now.
Like it looks like a pretty full standard voice. So if you've already got all those modules, like, eh, right? Like you could
Yeah,
probably
not
make
really
some
hurt,
cool
but
stuff with it. But but for folks like that have a blank slate or just starting, like that's a no-brainer. I think it's like a super sick little desktop or modular synth. So
It's a semi-modular, or is it Eurorack?
it's a
it's designed to
neural
be either,
modular.
Okay.
That seems to.
right? It does have a MIDI input. It looks like, or I assume that's an input. Yeah, it looks like an input.
Yep,
I don't know why it
yep.
would
It
output MIDI.
looks like it is, but
So it looks really rad. I think that's a pretty cool DIY project. So if anyone does that, let me know. I want to hear it because I don't think there's sound demos are that good. Not because it's a bad synth. I just think they could have better demos. So if you're Dreadbox, send me
Yeah.
one and I'll build it and do a cool sound demo. I'll even pay for it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's I got pretty excited about that. Like I really like Dreadbox. I think almost everything they make I want. But I haven't purchased anything. Did any of y'all have any Dreadbox anything?
Yeah, I had the OTA filter for a while, the one with the three sliders and the black and white with the plaid on
Yeah,
the panel.
yeah.
That one was good. It's really not really squelchy, but it sort of is at the same time. It takes FM really well. That's what I'll say about OTA filters. You can FM them really nicely. Otherwise, it's a little bit aggressive in kind of like a not romantic way.
Harsh but not good is like there's a line, right? Like the MS-20 filter I have is harsh but like sounds good, but some of the filters I've tried are just not. Mm,
This one's not really harsh. It's just really in your face.
mm,
It's it's not like characteristic harsh. It's just very like abrupt and not really a lot of mystery to it. You know,
okay, okay.
The WL filter, right?
Jamie Riley has 10 dread boxes. Tell me more about your dread boxes. Like are they the desktop synths? Are they all of the
Jamie
modules? Are there stomp boxes?
Jamie knows what I'm talking about it not being harsh. It's just really just kind of like a strong filter, but without too much. It really doesn't have much for character. It's really nice actually.
Cool.
It'll mix well.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's underrated. Like that's an underrated value when looking at things, is if it mixes well.
Oh, totally. That's
Um,
partially why I sold the Wasp. It didn't really fit with my mixes.
After you said that, I listened to it more, and actually, like, I started playing stuff around, like some people's demos, and I felt sort of the same way. So it got knocked off of my wish list.
Yeah,
I mean, it is
it's all
cool,
about
but
it's for really weird patches that you can take advantage of that characteristic. You know, like maximum resonance, feedback, just abstract stuff. So
yeah. Oh, those are desktops. That's even cooler. Like I've been lusting after some of the more recent ones, like the Erebus and the Nymphis, and I don't remember what else. I tried to look
The
to
next, the next is kind of hot.
Typhon.
It's interesting. Yeah,
I like the
I think
colorway.
it's the version 2 they're
It's really
going right now.
I mean, I like all of the things they like. I've not heard a Dreadbox demo that I was not stoked about in terms of their desktop boxes. Um, like I said with that new voice, I think they just haven't they don't have a good demo yet. 20 modules, 4 pedals. Woo! Do you work for Dreadbox, Jamie? That's amazing. I didn't even know they had pedals until today when I was like browsing their site and trying not to spend money. Yeah, the Knicks is. I mean, their design is ace. Their sound is good. Yeah, grab them quick if interested. You know, I don't think I'm gonna get another desktop synth for a long time. Like I'll probably pick up a few of their modules, but I think I'm over it for a bit.
what are you
Um,
hawking next? What do you want to pick up next for the rack?
for the rack, oh, hold on, just a second. Let me pull up.
Even just general style, like utility, voices, effects. What are you into
Yes.
next?
So the way I'm looking at it is this box that I'm going to build is sort of going to be like a bit like a sort of if I took this and crammed it in a small box, but also had more East Coast and effects. So I'm going to start with what I don't have here. So I'm not looking for mixers or sequencers or anything like that. I'm probably going to start with like some effects or logic modules or something that I'm pretty light on. So something like that.
What are you after for effects? What type of effect are you into next?
The first thing I'm looking for is a really good reverb, um, and I thank Strymon for coming out with a brand new one that pretty much fills that void. Uh, I mean,
The
if I don't
Stardust.
go Strymon, I might try. Like, I really liked the Vampire Bat
The
by
Dismodus
yeah,
Versio.
yeah,
Yeah.
um, and because that one seems like a good starter to see how I fit reverb, and it's got a lot of performative bits to it. It's not going to be as nice sounding, but I have a blue sky in the meantime to sort of fill that void. But again, it's a pedal, which is limited in how much I'm going to use it. So
How
that's what I'm
about
going to start with.
cool.
Uh,
What about you, Bartok? Have you tried the Dismodus Versio reverb from Noise Engineering? Have you given that a shot yet?
No, I haven't.
How about in person? Have you demoed it? Seen anyone
No,
with it? No, I
no.
haven't either. I haven't worked with it in person yet.
yeah, I'm excited to try it, and you can load different firmware on there, but that's not really a huge selling point for me. I mean, that's cool, but I'm just curious to try it. Uh, and then after
You
that, probably
know,
distortion, because I would like I like distortion, but I think there's more performative things I can do without. Like right now, this has been unplugged for a long time, but I have the big muff, uh, like Russian pie, and the rat here. Uh, I've baked in amp, but that really gets pretty gnarly, so I don't touch that one too much. So
I
yeah,
think that with your distortions, you should get a good send and return channel with a bunch of VCAs for all of your voice to feed. So you VCA all your voices going into a send,
yes,
and then that feeds your distortion.
and that's how I'm going to use like these mixer. Like I have a lot of open channels on these mixers, and they're VCA mixers, just like we talked about.
Nice.
So that should do the trick in the meantime. If
That's
you do
the
it that way.
performative aspect is actually how much VCA amount feeds the distortion, because
Yes.
that changes the whole harmonic distortion completely by the amounts of stuff going in.
Yeah, and even like I think you might have recommended this a long time ago, but I occasionally do this where I'll split the audio signal and then send the clean, like the completely dry and completely distorted signal into the mixer and sort of use that
Balance
to
them. Yeah,
balance it nicely.
yeah. What a great control aspect having two different options feeding it. That's awesome.
Yeah,
For
and I
reverb.
also and
Oh,
this mixer is one. It's a Look Mom No Computer mini one, but the reason I like it is very simple. It's just a volume knob and an on-off switch, but I modified it to use on-off temporary on toggles. So when it's up, it's on. In the middle, it's off, and then it's like a push button, so I can really do some fun like stutters and stuff.
for sending
Just
to like reverb would be huge.
yeah, exactly right. So that's why it's pretty why I like that one.
I was
And
trying to get back to when you were talking about getting a reverb module next.
yeah,
Have you seen the company Synthesis Technology with their E3520 Hyperion processor?
what is this?
I think it is the. I
It
think
says
it's
what?
yeah,
E530?
520.
It is the 520, isn't it? Yeah,
Let me check.
that's the one to
With
get
the
if you want a reverb module. The Hyperion processor's definitely the way to go right now.
Synthesis. Okay, so synthesis technology Hyperion 520. I'm gonna
E520.
take a look at
If
that.
you
Oh,
check
that
it
is
out.
a monster of a
That's the
module.
one to get.
Yep.
Okay, so like
You
that's
don't
the
know
size
about
of
the.
all of the reverbs I looked at combined.
Yep.
But it's
It's
not
a
like
You
lot.
I'm short on
didn't.
space, right? Uh,
It's a lot more than just a reverb. Sid, doesn't that also have the morphing terrarium algorithm in it, or something? That I think it has the wave.
Probably. I think. I haven't looked at it too much because it's not. It's complicated, and I think it still is in pre-pro in product somewhere in between launching and something.
Oh, it's
But
definitely released. It's been released, but the thing I was wondering was how many of the old algorithms made it into that module, because they had so many old algos that were great, like the cloud generator, which made it into the morphing terrarium, and I wondered if they continued taking the old algos into the new modules, basically.
It looks like it's loaded. Just skimming the details. It even has some FFT technology. What does FFT stand for? FFTs are
Uh,
employed for vocoder, spectral delays, time stretching effects, and more. Like it's got some time frequency stuff. Like that's pretty cool. Uh, Definitely gonna have to listen to some demos and see what people are doing with it. Um,
Most of the cost is actually in the components, believe it or not. Those potentiometers are almost $5 a pop or something. It's like an obscene amount of money for
you don't even
the
have to. I
controls.
mean, yeah,
yeah.
for other folks that haven't built stuff, like potentiometers are, especially quality ones, not easy to find and they're expensive,
Yeah.
even in bulk. Like the cheap ones I get from like a local supplier is like $2 a pop, something like that, $1.50 maybe. But like that's still a lot of money. It adds up. So yeah, uh, yeah. I
Well,
mean, the price doesn't scare me away. It's more the size.
that actually reminds me, going back to the past. Actually, Paul Schreiber said on the Mod Wiggler forum when this thing was in pre-production and stuff that he actually uses quote unquote the most expensive pots and knobs available.
Yeah. Yeah. Super high quality from
That's
everything
cool.
Synthesis Tech. Yeah.
That's cool. Um, I mean, I appreciate that. Uh, yeah. Um, I mean, I'm
But thank
excited
you
about
again.
that. So, like, thanks for that recommendation. Like, if anyone sees me looking and buying stuff, like, in your opinion, Nate, about whatever thing I'm buying, like, let me know. I want to hear it. I want to I
It,
want to know it
it, it,
before I buy.
it depends on your goals. It depends on
Yeah,
what you want to do with it.
yeah. And there are, I mean, there are some things that I'm a little wary of. Like I haven't watched any demos on it, but anything with a screen, I'm all of a sudden like, well, are there menus? Do I have to go through menus to find things? Is it quick to get around? Like, I'm not opposed to that. Like the
They
Micro Freak is a good example of one that's really quick to get around and do what I need to do. But uh,
I
yeah,
think the
they
important
will
thing
have
is. Oh, sorry. Go for it, Seed.
there have been some minor complaints about, for example, in the morphine terrarium, no, cloud terrarium, the big wavetable oscillator they got that it's a bit annoying to go turn it, click, turn it, click, turn, click, turn, click.
okay,
So maybe
It's a
it has
challenging
a
data
little bit
entry.
of it has a little bit of wondering about, but
yeah.
for
But I
some
mean,
it
maybe
will not be a problem.
if it's something
I
that
mean,
mm, like there's a lot of menu divey stuff in the score, but typically that's not the stuff that I need to get to when I'm performing in the pyramid. So if it's like that, it's fine.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the thing, right? Does it require menu diving to perform with, or is it menu diving where you're going to set what you want, get what you want out of the module, but once you've done that, you could still utilize it without a deep dive every time.
Right, exactly. Um, and
I kind
that's
of feel. Oops. I kind of feel like the Strymon, same with the Magneto, having the four buttons on the front to choose your presets. That's ideal for live performance. You know,
I agree.
the segues between the tails changing is so cool.
Yeah, I mean those have my attention for sure. The thing is, I don't even know if I need a reverb yet, right? Like if so, that's why I'm not necessarily starting with the Strymon. Though if I like reverb, I'll probably like sell what I have and go all in on a Magneto or the Starry Sky or Night Sky or whatever they called that newest one, Star Lab,
the blue sky.
something Lab, Skylab. I don't know. Anyway,
Skylab.
Oh, the
Yep.
module
yeah.
is Star Lab.
Okay, Star Lab. Cool. Yeah, because
Okay.
Skylab's the
There we go.
ISS, right? Or something like that. Yeah. So I mean, I'm looking at effects modules. There's also, yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about them, but just distortions, something on my mind too, particularly for drums.
We
Like,
we need to talk about this, you and me, later on, because I got a couple tips on distortion that could help you maybe with your
yeah,
quest.
I mean, I'm not interested in distorting. I mean, I do distort like the synth voices and stuff every once in a while, but like the drums is where I want it. So I'm interested in a good distortion that like one of my favorite tricks that I've done is uh, like if I pipe the drum brute impact through this thing and I have a kick drum with a long tail, so a long decay, uh, and like a set of closed hats going. As that decay goes, it like when it goes into this doesn't know what to do with that, so it like
Yeah,
wipes out all of the hats pretty much, and you sort of hear the hats like come in after the decay, and it really like rattlesnakey sound. It's cool.
it like oversaturates the muff pie.
Yeah,
That's nice.
so yeah, so it's pretty cool. So like that's something I'm interested in, just playing with different ways of uh, modifying the drum sounds a bit.
Well, if you're going to talk about gain staging guitar pedals, you want to start with your tubes first, and then go into the 15-volt pedals or 18-volt pedals, and then into your 9-volt like the muff last. You want to
Well,
go from the biggest, smallest.
yeah, I don't. The thing is, I don't want to use pedals anymore.
You should. Pedals are great, but you need sends. You need sends to use them.
Yes, I need sends. I mean, and I'm more interested in using them as guitar pedals.
Yeah.
So that's why these probably aren't going anywhere. Like I mean, they're
Well,
gonna
well,
sound good.
you shouldn't think of pedals as being individual. You want to use them in a chain of one to another for like
Correct.
the ideal gain stage with distortion specifically.
Yes,
Yeah.
right, exactly. So that is how I think of them. That is how I've used them in the past. Um, with the patch bay, I had them set up really nicely to do that.
Are
Uh,
you lucky?
but I'm hoping to do a lot of what I did with the pedals in the box, and it's mostly because I just didn't have. I wanted the controls to be where I could get to them, right? Like I don't want to go to the floor, but also I didn't have enough hands to like trigger it. So like I'm hoping for like uh, to automate that a bit. So get effects that have gates on, or use other things to turn them on and off, that kind of stuff. So logic modules and mixers and VCAs and that kind of stuff.
Exactly. That's what you need. More VCAs and just control points for the VCAs to access the guitar pedal chain on the floor. Definitely.
And when I do eventually get a mixer, it'll probably be that WMD mixer because I like the setup of it right now so far. Like there might be something else that catches my eye, but it also has some nice sends, which is pretty handy. So
Yeah.
could quickly send drums or whatever through it. Let's see what we got in chat.
It is for VAT
Forestine,
though.
hey Forestine. Yeah, the Forestine brought the Micro Freak on a family trip, and it was just the bee's knees. That thing is just fun for everybody, I think. If anyone is interested in getting a first synth, that might be up there. Although it might be complicated for a first synth. I don't know. Who knows anymore?
Yeah,
Let's see what
just in
else.
general.
Alex Barnett too. We got a full crowd tonight.
What's up, Alex? Yo.
Now that I'm moving it to Sunday, everybody's like, actually Wednesday is pretty good. Uh,
I've been taking months trying to figure out my schedule to get Wednesdays cleared, and
I really appreciate that, but I'm sorry about the timing. It just needed to happen.
no,
Just do
I'm
Sundays work for you? Because I will move it just to have Bar Talk on.
Sunday's work.
Yes, that's what I like to hear. Cool. Um, yeah. I'm curious to hear more about effects from Alex too, because I know Alex has some sick stuff, and I think Alex was raving about the Magneto a long time ago, and I just sort of my eyes glazed over because I wasn't familiar with it. And you don't have any Eurorack slots, you don't think about Eurorack too much.
Alex Barnett is
Wait,
onto
what?
the
What? You're
Rainmaker by
right.
now.
Onto the Rainmaker, that's right.
Sorry, what'd you say, Seed?
So hex 7, what you have there behind you is not your rack.
No, this is Cosmo, so it's like Eurorack but
Oh,
bigger,
Cosmo.
right?
Cosmo.
It's
Oh my.
effectively Eurorack power supply circuit boards, just like larger panels and controls. And then I had the teeny tiny
Yeah.
adapter here for actual Eurorack stuff. So once that was full, I was like, I don't need to look at stuff anymore because I don't have any room. Uh, Alex has a good question. Um, you know, Alex, hit me up if you want to sell the Magneto. I'm not even joking. Uh, or we can work out something. I'll send you a Cosmo module or three. Talking about how effects change. How do you do that using sends on a mixer? Okay. Um, I can tell you how I do it on my mixer. You know what? Let's talk about the WMD mixer because it's going to be simpler to explain with that one. Mine has some like digital stuff and different channels and ads and stuff, but typically on a mixer you've got some send outputs uh, in different formats, but you and some knobs usually along each channel that you can send that audio to through the send and then back in. And what I'll do when I do that is I'll basically mute the channel, send it through the output, and then pull it back in another channel on my mixer. But in the WMD, there's actually a return. And Ben's probably more familiar with making sure the signal chain isn't too hot or anything coming back in. Like,
I find the big issue to actually be with the returns themselves, because
uh,
typically what happens when you return a signal to the mixer, you're going to have drums on the main stereo output as well. So then your reverb send ends up coming in on a return that's being shared by the hi-hats, and it's awful. It's
oh,
horrible. So
interesting.
you need isolation between your effects returns and your percussion returns. That's the name of the game. Get them recorded on separate channels,
Yeah.
because you can't have hi-hats in your reverb returns. It's awful.
It just sounds like noise.
You can't mix it later. You limit yourself in post-production. You're like stuck with that mix if you only have a left and a right, you know?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, I can't stop raving about my mixer. Like, it's a digital mixer, but the cool thing I really like about it is that I can record every channel individually. So, like, in that case, if I had sent my drums out and back in, like, and on the master it sounds awful or whatever, right? I still have that pre-effects set of channels recorded, which is kind of cool.
Direct outs are absolutely critical, but I need more than that. I need more than just direct outs because I have so many effects.
Well,
hit,
it's
hit,
patch bay.
hit.
Well, I don't even know.
It's an impasse. I literally, well, I got past it with the OPTX by BoardBrain, but other than that, I was totally stuck before. It was changing how I mixed. It's a problem to work around with Mixdown.
Yeah, I mean, I still haven't got a good grasp on the best way to do effects. Like the way I had been doing it with Cosmo modules is, and sometimes like uh, I'll have different voices duplicated into this and like mute the ones I don't want into the effect. Like it's just really complicated to
Yeah.
try to wrangle sometimes.
And the send returns in Eurorack are even more complicated. The Cursible by Erica Synths, that collab module, whatever, it's actually pretty complex for what it does. And then even Hexmix, you have to pay attention to those returns, otherwise you're going to butcher it. It can be expressive and emotive, but it's going to take a ton of focus to pull it off.
Yeah.
And for a shot raw recording, it's like it is what it is when you track it. So there's no room for mess ups. You need to rehearse if you want to use returns with a master mix. You got to rehearse like fuck. It's a lot.
Have you done that, Bartok? Because I think you had the hex mix, or you have it, right?
Yeah, and I'm wondering what I'm doing wrong now. Because
Oops.
I mean, I use that like, you know, I've done my patch walkthroughs before, but I use my all three send and returns to different effects, and then so typically I'll use those for like my voice patches, right? And then my drums are completely separate, and I don't send those through the the send and return because on the hex mix I can control um, each channel if it goes through those the individual sends. So
Okay.
the drums I have that off, and then all my voice stuff I'll have going through different ones, and then I just got the out going to my main mixer. So like
Yeah.
my Allen and Heath that I use then to just record, and that's it.
Are you recording the drum and are you recording channels separately, or are you recording just a master mix?
Nope, nope.
Okay.
Everything's just recorded that one time. I don't
From the left and the right, or from the individual direct outs?
know the left and the right.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. It's a real
So,
performance then. That's
well,
awesome.
I mean, I treat it like, um, if I was performing this somewhere and it was getting recorded, that's how I want it to be. Um, I want it to be recorded. I don't want to think I would need to do a lot of extra stuff to perform this somewhere that I can't do right, you know, in one performance. But
That's cool.
now I'm wondering, like, what am I not hearing that's sounding bad?
You're not. You're not. You have the right mentality for the hex mix. That is
Yeah.
100% the right way to use that. The hex mix is borderline an instrument in and of itself because it's a performance mixer. There's a way to use it and a way not to use it, and I'm definitely doing it the other way. You're doing it right. It's,
Okay.
yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to look that up again too. My mixer, I'm gonna be indecisive on picking a mixer. There'll probably be like 5 mixers, knowing Eurorack. Um, like shoot, I have 3 mixers on that at least. 4, 5. Never mind, I have 5 already. Um,
Well, yeah, and then I've got a bunch of like other the 3x mix or the 6x mix, the happy nerding to kind of just narrow down as I come to the hex mix.
Yeah.
Because to me everybody says you can't have enough VCAs, but I think you can't have enough
Submixers.
mixers.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. It should be equal.
You're
Submixers
both
to
wrong. You
VCAs.
can't have
Yeah.
enough VCA/mixers.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
can solve that by
Yeah.
having those several of those modules that are like several VCAs that have cascading functionality.
Yes.
That in that way you can mix and match and do whatever, and it's legendary. That's why
Yeah.
mutable blinds is excellent.
Yeah.
For example,
Um, yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, Bartok. You sort of brought up a good point. I think when talking effects, at least in my experience, separating out drums from everything else, or even drums, lead, and bass, if you can, in terms of effects, is like the way to go. Like you can get away with some things. Like I did run drums and the lead through the uh, data bender, but that's like some glitchy stuff that doesn't really, like, if it's turned down just a little bit, doesn't muddy things up too much. But like if everything's through a reverb or distortion, it's just not good.
Yeah. I don't think you could do it that way. And then I understand Ben's, problems at that point is.
Yeah. And then if you're
Well,
recording, there's nothing you can
Yeah.
do with it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
useless.
You know what you can do with the stuff that has a bass content, or and the stuff that's a little more mid-range voice, and the stuff that is more trebly. If
Yeah.
you get the sends grouped correctly for the spectral content of the sounds, that's super expressive. Like right now, the bass
Yes.
goes through the reverb. Right now, the hi-hats go through the reverb, and you just split it up. Maybe you're using delay, and you just want maybe like a little mid-range voice to pop through for a sec. That's the way to do it. Is just look at it in terms of bass, mid, and treble for your effect sends on like groupings. And you can do that with the EQ changes. You can actually reshape it in the moment, but it's a lot of
Yes.
work. You got to
Yes.
focus to make it sound good.
Yeah, that is a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah, it's hard, but you can do it.
I
It's
mean,
going to be like, it's possible.
that's not even something I consider right now because the drum brew impact it does have some individual outs, but it's not. It's much harder to work with that. Like I don't know. I could try that. It's just a lot of access, and I don't know. I'd rather just build the drum your rack set. Alex. Oh yeah, Alex had a good point. Colin Benders configures his effects, at least in the mixer, by separating the dry and the wet, which is pretty cool. Um, before before mixing it to master, so separating dry and wet. Yeah, and that's similar to what we were talking about here, where you've got sort of like a dry signal and a wet signal that you can mix together at different ratios or one on and off, that kind of thing. Um, what was I looking at recently? Oh, the cat's dry wet signal. I like that it's like everything on the catnip is CV controllable for the most part. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to cycle through the flavors and try that some more, but that one's not leaving this case probably because it's a perfect effect, tiny effect.
How are you handling CV control right now? Are you doing that with the pyramid or something? What do you have going on?
Yeah, so typically more synthy stuff is CV and gate coming out of a MIDI to CV module here. But I have it set up to output 6 different tracks. So like I have CV gate, CV gate, CV gate, like 6 of those, right? And I typically only use 2 to 3 for actual synth stuff, which means I'm left with 3 gates or 3 volt per octave. So I can use either of those to sequence pretty easily. But for something like I've been using the cat for, I've just been using this Evil Eye sequencer, 8-step sequencer, a lot of the time because that's really easy to get dialed in nicely.
Have you messed around with mixing the 8-step sequence into maybe like audio or something, just as a way of merging like an 8-step sequence with an audio signal and seeing what comes out for CV controls of like filters and stuff?
Yeah, so yeah, typically, uh, well, I do it all the time lately where I have this like 8-step sequencing, like the filter knob or something, while uh, the pyramid is actually controlling the voice overall. Like so, it's sending the CV in the gate, and then that envelope generator is here controlling the filter. But the filter is these performance filters are monsters. Not only they, it's sort of like 3-in-1 modules. I've got the MS-20 filter, gnarly, rad, and it's actually got a high pass, low pass if I want, but I never use the high pass. It's got 3 mixing inputs, right? So I can put in 3 different signals and mix it right there. And then there's 3 CV inputs, 2 of which have attenuators, and the bottom one does not. But I like to send the bottom one from this, right? Because it has its own attenuator, and actually it's an attenuverter. But so
I do.
I'm mixing a lot of CV control on that sometimes. But also I can use that like in conjunction with sequencing here. I can sequence like the catnip, like I was just talking about, or the cat. Like I sequenced the cat voices the other day, like the mood, that kind of thing. And I could do it with the MIDI to CV, but there's a lot more fussing when you're like trying to get the right pitch on a keyboard or something versus just like turning a knob until it sounds good.
Well, selecting something like the nip or the cat is going to be a little bit more like locked into the knob position. It's probably
Yeah.
what, like 8 to 10 positions
I
that you can
think that
sequence.
the cat itself is something like that for the voices. The catnip is maybe like 5 effects, something like
Okay.
somewhere in that range. So you have basically, uh, I don't know the exact octave, I just dial it in by ear, right? Like you listen until you get it going through all 5, and then you can sort of sequence where you want each one. Or I could do it on there just as easy.
Yeah,
And
Mutal Warps has that too. It's called Algo, and you can actually see the algorithm you choose at a 9 position. It's handy.
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
When is the next stream train on EMS? That's a good question. I don't know that one has been proposed yet, but based on timing, I'm guessing there's going to be a holiday one, whether it's like a New Year one or like a Happy Holidays one. Um,
Maybe Turkey Day.
I don't know. Probably not Turkey Day. It's too. Well, we could do Turkey Day, but I am not going to be there because I am going to be asleep uh, or far away from a modular. But yeah. So I don't know. I don't know when the next one is. We'll have to figure that out. I think the holiday one's kind of good if we do it like closer to New Year's or something. I don't know. We'll see. I
We
know
could do a
I'm going to try to
carriage.
do something for it, like actually prepare a track. Because I had fun last year. I did Carol of the Bells or like a janky version of it. But
Dun,
uh,
dun, 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 dun,
yeah,
dun, dun.
because it's like meant for synths, like synths are like rock lords. So
That's so funny because I have a friend who's a guitar player, and we try to do like a Christmas song every year. And I was going to try to attempt Carol of the Bells this year.
do
Um,
it. It's so fun.
did you keep it in 3/4?
Check it out. I don't remember. I might have.
Because that's the thing. Like I have
Yes,
to
yes, I
start.
did keep it in 3/4.
Okay, I have to start doing math now and trying to figure out when to send the retrigger.
Oh,
Um,
because it's a 16-step sequencer and you need only 12 steps, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, I highly recommend it though because it's really fun with synths. I'm thinking maybe like Little Drummer Boy or something else equally epic, but we'll figure it out. Something holiday-ish. Probably not like Blue Christmas by Elvis, but you never know.
You could do the what is it? The Little Drummer Boy. Bum, bum,
Yeah,
bum,
that's,
bum,
that was
bum.
that was the one I was thinking might be a pretty good one, but like real heavy and hecky. I don't know. Uh, like yeah, anything that makes mean face like is good. The little drummer, the really angry drummer boy. And so yeah, I definitely will be participating if we do a holiday one. I'll figure it out timing wise. Um, yeah. I really did enjoy. Like, it was so much fun to make Carol of the Bells last year. I highly recommend it for anybody that has modular or synthesizers. Like, go an octave further down with the bass line than you think is good, and then you'll be in happy town.
Yeah, that was epic. That was a really pretty set too. It
Thanks,
was nice. Nice to hear.
thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I don't have many more things on my topic list that today other than time change. So, does anybody have any questions for us while we've got a full house?
I got a question for Mr. Bartok. Hey,
Shoot.
am I saying your name right? It's Bartok, right?
Yes, Bartok.
All right, cool. All right, Bartok. What are you looking at next for modules? By type, effects, utilities. What's next for you?
Um, I feel like I'm kind of set right now. But if I were to experiment, it would be with either changing a VCO or a filter. So I feel like that one of those two. So like I have here right now with the STO, the chopping kinky, which I put back in. For a while, I was using the noise engineering Pura Ruina with the STO, and I'm trying to find like what I really like to pair up with the STO. So, if anything, that's kind of what I would try. I also changed. Um, I actually put this back in. This is one of the first modules I got. I think after the STO, I got the micro version of braids.
Nice.
But I had taken that out a long time ago, and I was using the AI synthesis VCO. But again, just trying to think like what I can do a little different, but it stays within my confines of my case. I swapped it out recently just to get a different sound for a couple of songs, but other than that, I'm pretty happy with what I have.
Great.
That's cool.
Very good. Yeah, Braids is a good macro oscillator. It's got a lot of sounds under the hood.
Braids is
Yeah.
actually on my list to get. No question. But I have to wait until I finish my Cosmo power supply because it'll be a Cosmo module.
Yeah, and I was thinking for Carol the Bells, that would be a good one to put in there too.
Yes. All right. We have hit an hour. So unless y'all want to hang around, I'm thinking of calling it. Calling it a night. Episode 32.
You got
good with.
Yeah. You got outro music for us? What are you doing, Heck?
Don't know. What happens when I hit play? Nothing.
What happens if it's just Bartok's face in front of everybody the whole time?
Oh no! Did I do that again?
You did it again.
Do this.
Well, I mean, I get it. You put it so that Bartok could show the STO and the topic ticket clearly, but
yeah, I was trying to make Bartok's case bigger, but it's awkward software to use, so I apologize.
It's okay.
All right. Yeah. So.
What's the patch like? Ooh. Oh wow, it's nasty.
That is juice.
I don't know about this patch. Like the speed of this oscillator is determining the clock speed.
Hunting aliens in the spaceship.
Let's get real weird with it.
Nice.
I like the resonance of that
Cool stereo image.
All right. See you a week from Sunday on What the Heck.
Woo! Yeah.